Thanks for checking out this Web Extra from my conversation with Senate candidate Michael Franken. The retired admiral tends to fall in the moderate wing of the Democratic Party. His thoughts about how to address gun violence are different than a lot of people in his party. Here's that discussion. You take a different approach to gun violence than a lot of Democrats. You're a vocal supporter of the Second Amendment and indicate you owned your first gun when you were 8 years old. And you want to place an emphasis on training in all aspects of owning a gun. Would that be a requirement for licensing? And how do you keep guns out of people who shouldn't have them?
Well, we've got a plethora of laws on the books that are designed to restrict who owns weapons. We don't necessarily follow those laws from state to state to state. I would like to see a more of a congealing action that has to do with from state and municipalities, etc., so that we have something a little more uniform. But I see owning a gun to be a privilege. And having served, been the commander of the Joint Task Force in Africa, having the 4,000 combat troops, airmen, Marines, SEALs on the continent, I got a pretty good perspective on this. Having spent time in northern Pakistan, Afghanistan, etc., nobody's going to gunsplain me on weapons. I also have lived on multiple continents in multiple different countries who view weapon ownership as a privilege that you earn by being a responsible citizen. I think everybody agrees with that. By knowing how to use the weapon, nobody disagrees with that. With knowing how to store the weapon and how to clean the weapon and how to maintain it and accuracy, etc. And you know, we don't necessarily need the plethora of types of weapons that we have. A 100-round magazine for your M4, tell me why that's needed. And there are segments of society that say, damn well, but you know what, I disagree with you. And I can disagree with it because I doubt if you've got more combat time than me, and I doubt if you've lived in municipal areas who have had more casualties than I have seen what it does to society. And by George, you don't have a right to own a weapon that can waste so many people's lives and not have the responsibility or the known responsibility of having been trained to properly be a good citizen. And I'll also add that in the military, when we sell surplus weapons, weapons grade or military grade weapons to the civilian population, we go through a 5-step process that ensures owner responsibility. And if you're a real solid NRA member, you should be a fan of that. Unless, of course, you can't hack it.
Is that what you're talking about when you talk about the unauthorized construction of weapons? Those are the controls or limits you're talking about, or am I off base there?
Oh, that has the unauthorized construction of a weapon is where you can buy piece parts and manufacture them online. I've seen guns made in homemade shops.
What type of controls would you put on them then?
Well, you can only do so much, but you certainly shouldn't have the designs for the weapons available for automatic manufacture. You should make it illegal to own one, and that should be a felony offense. I mean, you should own a weapon that has a serial number on it, an authorized manufactured weapon. You shouldn't be able to manufacture this thing at home. We would be unique in the world, in the advanced countries, to have this loose restrictions placed on firearms. And frankly, those who don't own firearms, they have rights too. And I'm very mindful of that.